Okay, we're about halfway through this crazy story. I hope you like it. I love you. All right. I think they were bobbing in the water the last time. Oh, yeah. They just got all the centipede's feet on, and they're climbing up the ladder into the dark, soggy, peachy tunnel. A minute later, they were out in the open, standing on the very top of the peach near the stem, blinking their eyes in the strong sunlight and peering nervously around. What happened? Where are we? This is impossible. Unbelievable. Oh, it's terrible. I told you we were bobbing up and down, the ladybug said. We're in the middle of the sea, said James. And indeed they were. A strong current and a high wind had carried the peach so quickly away from the shore that already the land was out of sight. All around them lay the vast black ocean, deep and hungry. Little waves were bibbling against the sides of the peach. But how did it happen? They cried. Where are the fields? Where are the woods? Where is England? Nobody, not even James, could understand how in the world a thing like this could have happened. Ladies and gentlemen, the old green grasshopper said, trying very hard to keep the fear and disappointment out of his voice. I am afraid that we find ourselves in a rather awkward situation. Awkward? Cried the earthworm. My dear old grasshopper, we are finished. Every one of us is about to perish. I may be blind, you know, but that much I can see clearly. Off with my boots, shouted the centipede. I cannot swim with my boots on. Well, I cannot swim at all, said the ladybug. Nor can I, wailed the glowworm. Nor I, Miss Spider says. But you won't have to swim, said James. We are floating beautifully. And sooner or later, a ship is bound to come along. Are you quite sure that we're not sinking? Of course I'm sure, said James. Go and look for yourselves. They all ran over to the side of the peach and peered down at the water below. The boy is quite right, the old green grasshopper said. We are floating beautifully. Now we must all sit down and keep perfectly calm. Everything will be all right in the end. What nonsense, cried the earthworm. Nothing is ever all right in the end. Poor earthworm, the ladybug said, whispering in James's ear. He loves to make everything into a disaster. He just hates to be happy. He is only happy when he is grumpy. I think we all know somebody like that. I suppose just being an earthworm is enough to make anyone grumpy. Don't you agree? Well, if this peach is not going to sink, said the earthworm, and if we are not going to be drowned, then every one of us is going to starve to death. Do you realize that we haven't had a thing to eat since yesterday morning? By golly, he's right. For once, earthworm is right. Of course I'm right, and we're not likely to find anything around here either. We shall get thinner and thinner and thirstier, and we shall all die a slow, hungry death. I'm dying already. I'm shriveling up, I'm so hungry. Good heavens, said James, you must be blind. Well, you know very well I'm blind, snapped the earthworm. There's no need to rub it in. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry, but can't you see? See? How can I see if I'm blind? James took a deep, slow breath. Can't you realize that we have enough food here to last us for weeks and weeks? Where? Where? Why, the Peach, of course. Our whole ship is made of food. Jumping Jehoshaphat, they cried. We never thought of that. My dear James, said the green grasshopper, I don't know what we'd do without you. You are so clever. Ladies and gentlemen, we are saved again. We are most certainly not, said the earthworm. You must be crazy. You can't eat the ship. It's the only thing keeping us afloat. We shall starve if we don't, and we shall drown if we do. Oh dear, oh dear. Now we're worse off than before. Couldn't we just eat a little bit of it? Cried the grasshopper. You can eat all you want, James answered. It would take us weeks and weeks to make any sort of dent in this enormous, humongous, gigantic peach. Good heavens, I think he's right. It would take weeks and weeks. Of course it would. But let's not go making a lot of holes all over the deck. I think we'd better simply scoop out of that tunnel over there, the one that we've just come up in. An excellent idea, said the ladybug. What are you looking so worried about, Earthworm? The centipede asked. What's the problem? The problem is, well, the problem is there is no problem. Cheer up, Earthworm. Come and eat. And they all went over to the tunnel entrance and began scooping out great chunks of juicy, golden, yummy peach. Oh, marvelous, said the centipede, stuffing it into his mouth. Delicious, said the green grasshopper. Just fabulous, said the glowworm. Oh, my, said the ladybug primly. What a heavenly taste. She looked up at James and she smiled, and James smiled back at her. They sat down on the deck together, both of them, chewing away happily. You know, James, the ladybug said, up until this moment, I have never in my life tasted anything except those tiny, green flies that live on rose bushes. They have a perfectly delightful flavor, but this peach is even better. Isn't it glorious, Miss Spider said, coming over to join them. Personally, I had always thought that a big, juicy, caught-in-the-web blue bottle was the finest dinner in the world, until I tasted a peach. What about the flavor? The centipede cried. It's terrific. There's nothing like it, never has been, and I should know because I personally have tasted all the finest foods in the world. And there's the centipede. Everybody was feeling happy now. The sun was shining brightly out of a soft blue sky, and the day was calm. The giant peach, with the sunlight glinting on its side, was like a massive golden ball sailing upon the silver sea. Look, cried the centipede as they were just finishing their meal. Look at that funny thin black thing gliding through the water over there. They all swung around to look. There are 2 of them. There are lots of them. What are they? What? They must be some kind of fish, the grasshopper said. Perhaps they have come to say hello. They are sharks, cried the earthworm. I'll bet you anything you like that they are sharks and they have come along to eat us up. What absolute rot, the centipede said, but his voice seemed suddenly to have become a little shaky, and he wasn't laughing. I am positive they are sharks. And so, in actual fact, did everybody else. But they were too frightened to admit it. There was a short silence. They all peered down anxiously and looked at what must be sharks who were cruising slowly around the Peach. What if they were sharks? There can't be any danger for us, said the centipede. But even as he spoke, one of those thin black fins suddenly changed direction and came cutting swiftly through the water right up to the side of the Peach itself. The shark paused, stared up at the group. Go away, they shouted. Go away, you filthy beast. Slowly, almost lazily, the shark opened his mouth and made a lunge at the Peach. They all watched. And now, as though at a signal from the leader, all the other sharks came swimming in toward the Peach, and they clustered around it and began to attack it furiously. There must have been 20 or 30 of them, all pushing and fighting and churning the water into a froth. Panic and pandemonium broke out immediately. Oh, we are finished now, cried Miss Spider, wringing her feet. They will eat up the whole Peach, and then there will be nothing left for us to stand on. Here's the sharks, and there's everybody, all worried. She is right, shouted the ladybug. We are lost forever. Oh, I don't want to be eaten. But they will take me first of all because I am so fat and juicy. Is there nothing we can do, said the ladybug. Surely you can think of a way out of this, James. They were all looking at James. Think, Miss Spider said. Think, James, think. Come on, said the centipede. Come on, James, there must be something. Their eyes waited upon him, tense, anxious, and hopeful. We'll find out what happens next time. Love you.